Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Pat Norris with your boy Javaris, one half of City on the Hill. We told the ladies you need to be in the room. No girls allowed. If you are rocking with us, man, make sure you like, subscribe, get also any notifications that we have new episodes coming up. Subscribe, help us so we're gonna be able to continue to spread the gospel in our way, God's way, and allowing us to be able to reach the masses and continue to do this thing.
Also, Pat said it all. I'm gonna just add, make sure you go to our social media pages, Instagram, His City, HISCITYOTH on Instagram, on Facebook, City on the Hill.
That's right.
And make sure so you can get the content that we be putting out during the week. So we here for some truthful, thought-provoking, transformative, men only, like Pat said. We told women to get out.
They go. We got something good going on for y'all, man. Let's roll.
I do got a reel on the hill, but I got a question though. As you was talking, I really did not think of this till you said it. Mm-hmm. So you know that like women have their anthems. You got several different women anthems, right?
Yeah.
The first one that come to my mind is the is it Ladies Night? No, how do you? I know the chorus. This is Ladies Night. Miss Yellow.
Yeah. It's actually, I think they took that from. Is it Gap Band?
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
But it's the one with Missy Elliott. They had Angie Martinez, Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Yeah, had all of them.
Yeah, Lil' Kim killed that.
Yep, Lil' Kim did kill that. Lil' Kim did kill that.
What's the men's version? Not version, but yeah, what's the men's?
That's a good question. I don't know, man. We be all over the place, man. We like some of everything, man. Man, that's a good question. I never thought about that. I never thought about a men's anthem that we have. I don't know, man. I don't know. 3 6 Mafia, Chicken Head. I don't know.
Oh, the women be having. They got they women's anthems, but they also got like they pseudo anthems. Like remember, No Scrubs was like all the females were singing that.
No Scrubs. What's be Ring on It, Always, Who Runs the World, anything. It's like anything from Beyonce. I don't know, man. That's a real good question. Jeez, I don't know.
You gotta have something.
We gotta have something. I don't know. Wipe Me Down by Lil Boots. I don't know. Goodness gracious. That's a good question. Think of a man's song. Jeez.
Celebrate men. What was that? I know we finna make ourselves sound old, but that old R&B, it was like at the end. It wasn't Arsenio Hall show. It was at the end of a show, but it was it was all the R&B singers and that day.
Oh, all the R&B male singers.
Yeah, Aaron Hall, Usher.
You will know.
Yeah.
It was gosh, what's it called? Men in Unity or something like that. It had like Usher, Tevin Campbell, R. Kelly, D'Angelo, Brian McKnight. All 4 of the boys, the men was on there.
Yeah.
Like
Tony
Terrell. People don't remember about him.
Was I'll Be Sure on there? I can't remember.
Was I'll Be Sure? I think I'll Be Sure could have been on that one.
But it was all the dudes that was like from the super famous to the young, because Usher was young in there.
He was like 14.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he was young. He was like around about 14 to 6. He was a little boy.
That's when he would call me a Mac.
That
I
was
hate
was Usher. Gosh. Every time I think of you, only from someone new. That Usher. It was that Usher. Usher. Before My Way Usher, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, I think this is before My Way Usher. I can see, okay, that could have been the song.
But
But
I ain't never heard that in no doggone car.
no, it ain't a banger. Hey man, let me put this thing on. You will know. No, man, it's not one of those songs. I don't know, man. I don't think we. I think that's the only one that I can say for sure that is probably like a male anthem, but it's kind of like how Michael Jackson's.
We are the world type.
Yeah, yeah, it's like that. Like it's not like like something I'm gonna put on that like put in the car and be like, oh yeah, that's for the dudes out there.
Right, they cut that on at the barbecue. Like, bro, cut that off, man.
Hey man, y'all remember this man for the dudes, man? Nah, we don't. I don't want to. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, man. I got to think about that. I don't think we got a true or no.
So this is I don't even know if we want to call it a segment because we're gonna have multiple conversations. I'm gonna call it a segment. I don't want to
Cool.
say series,
Let's go.
but anytime me and you on here, we gonna talk as men. We always talk as men, but we speaking directly to those who want a male's perspective on various things, and I'll get into it a little bit more later. But we are shepherds. We are
Yes.
leaders. We are household stander-uppers, for lack of a better phrasing. We are husbands. We are fathers. We are men. But one of the things that we are called, especially as Christian men, I got to make sure that as believers of Christ, we're followers of God, we're disciples. One of the things that we use in church and just in general, the priest of the household, priest of the home. What is your definition or opinion of what a priest in the home? What is that?
Very good question. It took me a while to try to really understand what that is. Priest in your home, I believe that is someone who is, of course, you have your family, you have your wife, and you have children. But the priest in your home, I think, it's a spiritual thing first. If God is not in the forefront of you as the husband, as the father of your children, if it ain't the top thing, everything else doesn't work. I have a responsibility for my wife and my children to know who God is first. Like they should have okay, they should know like my children, especially my children should know the first person who introduced me to God and to Jesus is my father. That's our responsibility. It's not about having like being an elder or being a pastor or named pastor. No, 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 no. It's about being a believer and being able to let them know like, hey, this thus says the Lord. Whatever the world say, whatever you look at, whatever they do, no. In our house, hey, we're gonna believe in God. We're gonna serve the Lord. And being a priest, we should be able to give them the godly advice that they need for their life, especially when they leave out. We should be able to have the confidence to be like, when y'all leave, you know where your foundation is when it comes to who God is. You should have a relationship with Him, with the Father, with God before you leave. It should already be there. You feel what I'm saying? And with our wives should be that reassurance, like, hey, I got his back. Now, does that mean that we get it right all the time? No, but that's where that communication do come together. But being a priest should have you should have a standard of God, and over time, the level of him should rise. We should be able to talk about the word and really understand it together. We should be able to have fellowship and have doggone worship service in our own home and feel the spirit of God in our home. It's been times like that. A lot of times. Hear the sermon, started talking with each other, and the glory of God just fills the room, and we just thinking about his goodness. It affects our children, it affects us, and we comfort each other, and we speak with each other, and we just reinsure what God word is saying. So long story short, yes, we being a priest should start with our spiritual first. That should be the very first thing, our spiritual, and then everything else should come afterwards.
No,
Finances, all of that. How to, well, the word tells you how to raise children, but finances, different other little things that you need to have your house be function.
you said in the beginning you was like it took you a while to figure out.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, a lot of men in those roles, we have an idea of what it might be, whether we think about it like that or we just kind of just in it. For me, I used to think I lead my home, so I tell everybody what to do, and I gotta set the tone from a standpoint of this is who we gonna be, and you got this Jones name and leadership. As you know, I'm huge on leadership.
Yeah.
But that piece of that spiritual leadership, more so in the lines of Christ, is
Mm-hmm.
something that I don't think, well, I know I didn't put in the forefront of the relationship. Like my covering, my not covering, I'm getting way ahead of myself. My priest is Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he does should denote my priesthood to my family,
Right.
my
Right.
leadership with my wife. And there's a lot of times, and if I'm not careful, it can still be times where I'm trying to do it my way, or you're too aggressive or you're too passive. And
Mm.
a lot of dudes are both. I don't want to get ahead, but we might be going already that passivity in their priesthood because they don't know.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Man, you said that, man. Man, it took me and Ella a while to really understand what our actual roles was in marriage. I ain't say family. I say just let's start with just marriage. Not knowing how I supposed to be the head of my household.
Hmm.
Like, how do I supposed to do that? I'm thinking, and like I said, we was talked about this before. I never had a relationship to my real father. Never seen him. Never, no, don't even never had a picture. So let's not throw him away, but let's put that to the side. My pops, George Watson. Shout out to my dad. I just spoke with him today. Like growing up, he wasn't. And this, like I said, I love him. This and no this, but he wasn't the concrete priest that should have been in a home. Ex-military, did security for Savannah Riverside outside of Augusta. He worked graveyard all the time, graveyard shift all the time. But he had drinking problem, had some things going on in his background, some things that happened between him and my mom. But
Hmm.
now, me, my own family, getting married, have my own family, I see some change in him. It's some change. It's some things that he do for for my children that I'm like, man, what was that? You feel what I'm saying? Like, what was that? I needed that. But I'm saying that to say going into our marriage, it was like, man, like we love each other. We love, everything's cute, you fine. Like, hey, this is what we do. But when it started getting like, okay, she needed more and I needed to do more, I was like, man, I don't know what to do.
Hmm.
We being real, right?
Hmm.
We being real. Like, I didn't know what to do.
I'm with you, dog.
Dog, I didn't know what to
Hey, I'm,
do.
I'm faking. Yeah, I got this.
Yeah,
Mama,
yeah,
give me
yeah, I got it.
love.
I'm like, I don't got it. Like, one of the thing I knew was, and goes to work, get money, pay bills, repeat.
Mhm.
Go to sleep, eat a little bit, and repeat. That's what I knew. The emotional side, the things I didn't know nothing about that. Like, I didn't know nothing about no. But I'm not saying we don't have emotions, but I mean,
It's different. Them different emotions.
right? It's different emotions. Like Fran and Ella, they need to talk. Especially friend need to talk. We can be like, hey, Vars, hey, Pat, you good? I'm good. We good. Bye.
Yeah. Let me know if you need something.
That's it. 10, 30 seconds. About 30 seconds. All right, we good. Let's roll. I do that to my brother. But I did not know how to do it. I did not know. So I was very passive. I didn't know how to protect my wife.
Hey, hold up. Let's come back to that. I want to share a quick story. And this jump sucks to say, but we being real, so I'm going to be
Yeah.
real. It had to be, she was pregnant with Jada. So this was 2008. Year married. We passed the year at that point. So
Yeah.
she's pregnant. We driving and it's raining, bro. This jump is full of shame, but I'm free in the Lord, so I'm finna say it. Oh, we up here driving and I feel a little bump. I'm like, okay. In my head, I'm like, please don't let that be a tire. 'Cause I'm not a handyman. I don't do stuff with cars, nothing, garden, whatever. Like for me to mow the lawn is like that's it. And I don't know what it was. It's like a movie. That mud went from drizzling rain to pouring rain.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Bottom
like,
drop.
yeah. And I'm like, so I pulled over and I'm cool on the outside. Inside, I'm like, bro, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, bro. Now, I know you probably don't feel this because I know you a handyman. Bro, I get out the car and I'm looking for the jack. I'm looking for the tire because I get out and I'm like, I probably in my head I said some words. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Long story short, bro, I get out there. That ain't the shameful part. I get out there. I don't know where to put the jack. I don't know how to change the tire. I don't know. Nobody showed me this. I'm just being real. Nobody showed me. So some dude pulled up. He's like, hey, you need some help. So you like, you don't say yes or no. You just say, yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out, bro. And so I guess he kind of saw a young dude struggling. He go out there, he trying to help. But for whatever reason, he couldn't get it. Now, he knew what he was doing, but he couldn't get it. Why does my wife get out the car, bro? Not only does she get out the car, she gets on and she puts it where it needs to be, the jack. And she don't lift it up, but she pretty much put us where it placed. And you know my wife. I love my wife. It ain't his wife, so he kind of like, well, dang. And he just... So we go ahead and do it, and he pretty much is doing it. So by this point, I'm mentally gone.
Yeah.
My pride is here. My shame is here. Man, I ain't say nothing, dog, for the rest of the car ride all the way back to the house. I was pissed, dog, because I'm like, that ain't your job. But there's also the shame of she knew what to do and you didn't. Bro. And I'm gonna be real with you. And I know people go, if whoever here be either laugh or they'll be, and it's funny now, but I was young and immature, young in my marriage. I'm 22.
Yeah.
So for that to happen was a hit to show if you can't do that, what else you can't do? So I just bring that up because I know that's a tangible skill, right? But that carried with me for a long time of, man, you don't know what to do. You can't even change a tire. So, yeah, man, that not knowing what to do, if it's just that, imagine the other stuff, spiritually leading, standing up for my wife. We can go a whole day.
That's funny. I got a funny story, too. Ella was pregnant with Mackenzie. Listen, you got to understand, I'm the oldest between two. It's me and my brother.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is the third in line of four. So she got two older brothers. It's her and her younger brother. Okay. Remember, I told you about emotions. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about women being sensitive. I don't know. So she pregnant in a one-bedroom apartment. Oh my God, I feel so bad. So we just bought our first living room set. And she's pregnant, so she was more comfortable sleeping on the couch. We just got this. So she kept sleeping on the couch. And I said, you need to get up because you flattened the pillows. When I said Ella was hot, she was mad. She didn't talk to me for about a week. She was livid. And then in my mind, I was like, but we got a bed. Flatten the pillows. It's like, we got to keep this. Mind you, we got married. It was like 2-3 months, got pregnant. So I'm just like not understanding the female like emotions and nothing like that. I don't know. Like, you had sisters. It's just me and my brother. So saying that, and then I'm like, in my mind, I was like, man, but you were. But thinking about it afterwards, I was like, man, I'm such a person. I'm like, I am so sorry for saying that. And to this day, I'll be like, Ella, I'm so sorry that I said that.
Oh
I
my goodness.
understand. so and the shame that you said, like, I'm supposed to be her husband, and I said this, I was so insensitive.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, and certain stuff, like when my wife be doing stuff, and I'd be like, man, I'm supposed to be doing that, not you. It's the male in us. It's that alpha that's in us that be like, hey man, this is my responsibility. I'm supposed to be the one to be able to open up the pickle jar.
Oh, hey, real quick. Don't you get a sense of pride when they come to you, whether it's them or your
Yeah,
daughter, and they like, can you? My daughter did that. She couldn't open a peanut butter jam, a
yeah.
peanut butter jar. She came last night, and I was like, I got it. There's something innate in you that's like, I'm doing my job.
I did it this morning. They couldn't open up a little makeup thing, and they were like, I tried. I'm like, you mean this? And they were like, how'd you do that? I was like, I twisted. They tried. I'm like, I twisted.
Oh, that's funny. So to close this reel on the heel, we kind of talked about experiences. I want to ask you, do you feel now that you're equipped to fulfill the role of priest? And I want to give context. Let's get some clarity. Priest of your home is not in the Bible. It is not. You're not going to find it of a man should be a priest of his home. I want to make sure I'm right. If I'm wrong, then correct me. However, you will find the role laid out that a man should be priestly in his home,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah,
And so throughout scripture, it talks about men doing certain things. Old Testament is more descriptive of what men were doing or what they were not doing and where they were wrong. Whereas New Testament is more instructional, especially when the apostles talking about what a man should do. But if you just look at the priests, Old Testament, I'm an Old Testament geek. The priests had a lot of roles, but one of them was they were mediators between God and man. Like they were the in between. They were I call it the chief ambassador. So the chief spokesperson, representative of God to the people. They were teachers. If you know Hebrew culture, the priests were the ones who handled the scrolls, especially as reading of the law and the Torah and stuff. They were sacrificers. So the ones who handled the sacrifice, which was a big deal.
yeah.
Can nobody just come up here and just go kill a calf? Like,
Right.
we got to present this to them. Then in certain areas, they were judges. Not like we think of judge, but like they were literally, I don't know if arbiter is the right word, but you
Okay.
think about Moses where they were bringing their issues to Moses before Jethro was like, hey, you got too much on your plate. But he was
Right.
handling disputes and handling things. And we see that with the king, with especially with Solomon. There's that story of, hey, what do we do in the situation with the baby and all that. Even though Solomon was king, my point is priests had roles of those and more. Do you feel equipped, back to the question, to fulfill your role as priest in those roles or in those operations and others?
For the most part, yes. I think when you are a husband, a father, being a leader, you still have to learn because things change. Even like over time, with when it comes to our spouses, even our children, it's like things like, wait a minute, you ain't acting this way, or you ain't doing this way anymore. You doing something different. Let me relearn you. So I think I say yes, but with a lot of on-the-job training. It's a lot of on-the-job training. It's a lot of upgrades. Just like our phones. Like, okay, every hey, if your phone don't start with the I, it's not a phone. That system, they make sure that you have the latest and the greatest software to make your phone operate better. We know that maybe something's going on when things slow down. All of a sudden, just your phone, you be looking at your phone and then it just go black, or it goes to your main screen. You don't know what's going on. Well, you need an update. You need an upgrade. You need an update. So with us, like I speak for me. Yes, I believe that I am priestly in my home with updates every few days, months, maybe years.
That's good. That's a great analogy. I got the equipment.
Yeah.
I just need to make sure that it's updated so I can operate it. That's good, dog. So, are you priestly? Yeah, but you might not be operating on the right system.
There you go. There you go. And you know what? My wife say this all the time. Our parents growing up, okay, they gave us a lot, like, let's just think of like a steak or a rib. They gave us a lot of meat, but sometimes that bone wasn't good. So I'm saying that to say you get the meat, spit out the bones. You don't keep everything. It's a lot of things, those old ways that we grew up, that stick with us hardcore. It's no negotiable. But it's some things that I'd be like, you know what? That wasn't right. I'm not gonna do that to mine. So it's we gotta be that way. Some people don't they're not that way. They just think that this is what it is. Some people ain't got nothing. They just empty. They got an empty plate and try to fill it. And it's like, that's terrible. And you don't say that because you don't want to be insulting, but it's in your mind, you be like, man, that's terrible. Sometimes we just need an upgrade. Sometimes, like you said, we don't know. You just don't know what to do. But you have helpers. Like, I didn't know how to change my brake pads, but I YouTube anything. Dude, I YouTube how to, and I changed batteries in my car so many times. I learned I went to YouTube to how to change a battery in our car that we have now, because it's newer and things are different. So I need to see if I can do it the right way. We just need help. We just need help every once in a while. And the more practice we do it, the better we get at it.
Which is funny. That goes to our main segment title, which is Sheep to Shepherds, which I'll get into that. But I just want to end with some scripture. Like I said, won't find a man should be a priest, but you will find what a priest does. In the book of Numbers, chapter 3, verse 10, God talks to Moses. He says, appoint Aaron and his sons to serve as priests. Anyone else who approaches the sanctuary is to be put to death. So he's telling him, hey, Moses, as I'm constructing the structure like we talked about last week of where things need to be, I need a priesthood to do certain things. Appoint Aaron and his sons, which is so funny because you already know what I was thinking. But then if you go to Numbers 18, verse 7, now the Lord is talking to Aaron and he's listing duties, and he says, I'm going to skip to verse 7. But only you and your sons may serve as priests in connection with everything at the altar and inside the curtain. I am giving you the service of the priesthood as a gift. That's a word in itself. Anyone else who comes near the sanctuary is to be put to death. So there's an exclusiveness to the priesthood. But God calls out for these men. He said, Aaron and your sons, you're going to uphold this mantle, and it's a gift. Anytime we enter into these roles, it is a gift. Husband, father, and that leads to sheep to shepherd. become. The title of our segment is Sheep to Shepherds. And God put on my heart, I would listen to Ezekiel last month, and which is a lot in there. A lot in there. That's the first time I've actually listened to it. God was spitting.
Yeah.
It's something that caught my attention. I immediately thought of you. I'm going to read it.
Okay.
It's long, but it's Ezekiel chapter 34. And the Lord is talking to Ezekiel, the prophet, and he's doing this whole thing. He just shares some insight into how he is viewing not only the children of Israel, but Israel, Judah, the coming exile, the how he's going to restore the stuff they finna go through, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But in chapter 34, I'm gonna just skip around.
Go ahead.
Verse 1 through 6, he says, "The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say to them, even to the shepherds, thus says the Lord God, shepherds of Israel who have been feeding yourselves. Should not shepherds feed the sheep? You eat the fat, you clothe yourselves with the wool, you slaughter the fat ones, but you do not feed the sheep. The weak you have not strengthened, the sick you have not healed, the injured you have not bound up, the strayed you have not brought back, the lost you have not sought, and with force and harshness you have ruled them. So they were scattered because there was no shepherd, and they became food for all the wild beasts. My sheep were scattered. They wandered all over the mountains on every high hill. My sheep were scattered over all the face of the earth with none to search or seek for them." I'm going to skip the verse 9 and 10. He says, "Therefore, you shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord God, behold, I am against the shepherds. I will require my sheep at their hand and put a stop to their feeding the sheep. No longer shall the shepherds feed themselves. I will rescue my sheep from their mouths that they may not be food for them." I'm going to skip the verse 15 and 16. We going somewhere with this.
Yeah, let's go.
So God is now saying that he's speaking about himself. "I myself will be the shepherd of my sheep, and I myself will make them lie down, declares the Lord God." Sounds like Psalms 23. "I will seek the lost, and I will bring back the strayed, and I will bind up the injured, and I will strengthen the weak, and the fat and the strong I will destroy. I will feed them in justice." And then lastly, verse 20. "Therefore, thus says the Lord God to them, behold, I myself will judge between the fat and the lean sheep." There's a lot in there. There's a lot in between there. But I bring that up because when I read that, when I heard that, bro, I'm not even lying to you. I thought of me and you, and I feel like God was saying, I need you. And Pat, he put you on my mind to be shepherds to the sheep. And when I say shepherds to the sheep, obviously is our household, which we're doing, but to those that will hear this, that are men. And I do think that this will become whatever God wants it to be.
Yeah.
But shepherds have a duty title, a position, and their job is to guide the sheep. But when we think about it as people, ultimately God is speaking to the leaders and tell them, you're not guiding, leading, developing these people. You're taking advantage of them. You're letting them suffer. You're not operating as you should. And I'm speaking to you as shepherds. Yes, I'm going to hold them accountable, but that comes at the end. You ain't doing your job. And so I feel like the sheep, the shepherds, me and you, as we go through these different topics, when we had this segment, we're talking to other shepherds, whether they're operating in their role or not. And we also talking to the sheep, whether they're young men, little boys, whatever, to raise them up to be shepherds. I know that's a lot. The intent and the purpose of sheep, the shepherds, is to tend to, care for, and guide the shepherd and the sheep of the Lord through honest conversation about holy, manly principles. That's sheep, the shepherds. The topic for today is covering. I told you we gonna be in it. So Patrick Norris.
Yes.
We know we're supposed to be the leader and head and guide our household. You talk about covering a lot. My wife has said it in a couple videos, and I feel like God was using all that because all those things happen on different days. And it's like the first topic in sheep, the shepherds, which he gave me a week before, will be covering.
Yeah.
So do you feel like men, us as men in general, not just me and you, but do you feel like we as men know how to be a proper covering or what that means?
Yes, if it was shown to us growing up. I think this does not diminish single mothers. I'm going to say this does not diminish single mothers. But it's a difference when you have some type of male figure that you look up to kind of show you certain things, to see how it is to run a home, how it is to love your wife, how it is to cover everything that's going on. Covering is not, how to say this, like I said, you have to see it and you have to actually put it in practice. Now, don't get me wrong. It's people who have grown up in, just say, two-parent homes, and they seen covering. There's some that's there that was just, they ain't see no covering. You have people that can say, like, he was there, but he wasn't present.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? He wasn't present.
So they had a roof, but it wasn't working properly.
Boom. Or it had holes. Or or they had a roof, but it was that blue tarp.
Trying to hold it down.
It was trying to hold it down. It had that blue tarp, and come the winds, come the hurricanes. You're like, oh snap! I can't get it. I got to tie it up. And got to tie it up, or you try to tie one. You got to use both hands to tie it. But when you do it, you know it's gonna be flapping.
And now you got to get the help of somebody else to help you hold it down.
By myself. But yeah, I mean, we have like even like early in my marriage, it's like, okay, I was that tarp. I was that tarp. I really was. Now, over a period of time, I started putting on the shingles, putting on that wood part, and then putting on the shingles. Had some rain come through them holes. Had some rains, but got that patched up. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Now, do I believe that in my household, do I have a complete roof? Do I have a roof over my head that we good covering? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do it sometimes. You may look in your ceiling and you may see a brown spot. Oh, something's leaking. Something's like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Let me hurt before it get too bad. Let me go on and patch this sucker up.
You were,
boy. You got
like
me interested, boy.
I like how you put that.
Yeah.
Like, soon as you got married, you had to cover. You had to cover. You were put in a position to cover. Let me say.
Yes. There you go. Yeah.
But the blue tarp is what you had.
That's all I had.
You like, okay, right? And a lot of people, I know this is a week before Father's Day, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation before next week's episode, is because I think a lot of dudes, let's just be real, just us dudes, it's just us dudes in this conversation. A lot of dudes out here are in covering positions, but they got into it with the house ain't right. The structure ain't right. Let's be real. No condemnation. I grew up, now I won't say she wasn't a single parent the whole time, but she was single parent in pockets. So I understand from a child standpoint what a single mother goes through. But dudes who are not married and have children, you're still in covering because you're a priest. You're in charge of taking care of sheep. But God designed it to where let the home be established and you be the roof of the home, which is the marriage. So there are a lot of dudes who aren't covering because they're out of order, whether it's their fault or not. And we ain't here to place blame. Like, we understand. Yeah. But we also gotta know that God has a design. Like you talked about the shingles, when they build in houses, Bro, they spent some time on that roof.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And they can have a structure, the foundation, and all that. And I know we big on foundations, but that roof is what's gonna keep that home from a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And because the covering is just, if the foundation is extremely important, the second most important thing is that roof.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, I don't know what you think, the foundation should be God, should be, for us believers, the foundation of Christ, his word, his structure, and all that. But then he places you and say, you got to be the covering. I bring that up, and I want to go back to your point. But there are dudes who, just because you're not married don't mean you're not a covering. You just might be out of order in your covering. Or you might be in order of covering, but you got the blue tarp.
Man, some of us always say, if Eve just didn't eat that fruit, for a long time, it was always Eve's fault. Eve ate the fruit. But at the end of the day, it was always Adam from the get-go. He didn't have to take it. He did not have to. We're gonna be 100, right?
Yeah.
If he did not have to. This is the same guy who was walking in the garden with God. The same one. He didn't have to, but he did. And
Hey,
now all of this is going on.
hey, what did God do? The first thing he did is speak to Adam.
There you go.
The all-knowing God knows what took place. He didn't go to the one who did it first. He goes to the one who was responsible.
And can I pick it back on that? I
Yeah,
know you're about to go on.
No, go ahead.
But then he let me bring that back. Don't want to get in the world. But then he wanted to blame it on somebody else. He didn't want to take the responsibility. We got a responsibility. I was that guy. I did that too. I was like, no, we didn't do this, but if you would have done this, maybe we would have had that. No, bro, the buck stops on you. It stops on you. It's our responsibility. Okay, I'm gonna say this. People may not like this. I very seldom use the word partner for my wife. This is why I'm saying that. In a business, if we partners, equal fair share, right? And some stuff goes down. If we partners, both of us is gonna get hit. Got it. Understandable. But I'm a head. I'm the CEO. She's the president. But if I'm the CEO, if the stuff goes down, that's on me. That's not on her. They're gonna be looking at me. Why did this stuff happen to you? I have my father-in-law trusts me with his daughter. If the stuff goes down at our household, they ain't gonna be talking to Ella what Pat was doing.
Mm-hmm.
If friend's dad, a friend's mom says if something happened to y'all, stuff goes down, they're gonna look at you like, hey, Vaughn, what happened? What's going on?
Yeah.
Because they ain't trusted you. They ain't trusted God to allow you to be her covering.
Yep. You're supposed to have it covered.
Exactly.
And that don't mean you're supposed to have it all figured out. It's what you said. It's I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you fine. Go. You good. This is good. Let's go.
That's where you just made it practical. I'm gonna use another example.
Mm-hmm.
The dudes that are listening to this, bro, we're not condemning you. We talking with you. Like,
yeah.
Like, let's be real. My oldest son, who's 23, he's 23. We've been married for
18
years. Dang. 18 years.
Yeah.
Do the math.
Mm-hmm.
He's 23. We married for 18. Yes, do it God's way. But if you don't, that can't be an excuse for why you don't step up. That can't be an excuse for, man, she was deceiving me. Because let's be honest, there are women out here who play on those emotions. I know what I can get out of you. Yes, and we know dudes are put in positions. Not every dude that ain't with the mother of their child is a dude that was out here just sleeping around or wilding. There are some. They're not all. There actually, some things happen. But we have to take accountability first that what did I do to put myself in this position? Now, if I can sit there and say I did everything, and I know people that, hey, they did everything, and then unfortunately, the marriage didn't work. I ain't talking about those. I'm talking about those who you got baby mamas out here. We hold that as a badge of honor. If I take care of my kids, great, but you're still out of order. What God is saying. Now, as you identify that you're out of order, that doesn't negate you getting back in order. I can't abandon my kids because the mother ain't the best, or the mother is wilding, or the mother deceived you.
Right.
Like you said, God is going to be like, okay, we know she ain't doing, but you're still a covering. You're still the father. You know, if she ain't allowing you to do certain things, there are ways that you can legally try to handle that. And we know dudes get bad raps.
Right.
We know dudes that try and they just whatever. God walks with those dudes through that. But those who don't, man, she did this, so it is what it is. You're not covering. In the same way in Ezekiel, when he's like, you're leaving the sheep out here sick, starving, and you're feeding yourself, I'm holding you accountable. Now, going back to the dudes in marriage, just because our wives have strong personalities, which our wives do,
You do.
or
Love 'em.
oh yeah, 100%. Or your wife may know a little bit more, like we was talking about.
Right.
They know certain things we don't, and we probably quote unquote should. That's not an excuse for that passivity. Like you said, I went from a tarp to I start putting up those shingles.
Yeah.
And so my question to you, told you I was gonna come back to the leaky spots. When we identify, what would be your advice to dudes who feel like, man, I'm trying to put up this roof, I'm trying to be the covering, but I have no idea how. And anytime I do, a wind blows and it knocks shingles off, or I got leaky spots. What is your experience with that? And or how would you speak to those?
Buy some more shingles and don't quit. Keep going. It's easy. Okay, let me say this is good. I'm glad we're talking about this because I actually got a funny story. We got married in the Justice of the Peace. It was in April 26th. But then within that time, we was planning our wedding. But we got married early, legally. The wedding was September 20th of the same year. We got a whole bunch of money from this wedding. Of course, presents and stuff like that. Ella was like, we need to go around and get a house. We need to go around and get a house. I said, okay. We're going around looking at some houses. So we went to this one house in off of Morgan Road. Went to the house. Realtor let us see it. I'm looking at it. I was like, Ella loved it. I said, yeah, but I just don't know. I don't know about this. And we pondered over it for a few days. Ella kept saying, we need to do it. We need to go on and put this money down. I was like, man, I don't think this is it. And so it was like, are we going to do it or no? Are we going to do it? I was like, no. I was like, you make a decision. You need to make a decision now. I said, no, we ain't gonna do it. But I knew you was gonna say that. Let's go to the mall and let's buy some stuff. I said, okay, let's go to the mall, buy some stuff. A month or two later, we found out that in that same division, it was open and people was breaking into certain houses. That same house, people was coming in and out that spot. How? Because I actually went to it to see it, and I went through the back, and I could easily get in. And it had like some things in there, like people were squatters. And it was prone to floods. Like that, because where it sat really deep, and it was prone to flood. So flooding was a problem. So I told Ella about it. She looked at it. She was like, whew, I'm glad we didn't make that decision. I was like, yeah, you're going to listen to me one of these days. One of these days, you're going to listen to me. So going back to your question, I think people quit too early when it comes to the marriage. It's either they quit or you live together and you act married and y'all exclusive, y'all together. you know, but you won't actually go to the next step to actually get married legally, because if stuff goes down, it's easy for you to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that before. But we get married and we get to some people, we get to some little adversity, and then you be like, nah, I can't deal with this. This is not what I thought it was supposed to be. Like, no, bro, this is this is a marathon. You thought this was the race? No, this is a marathon.
Man, I ran that mile, bro. I can't run no more.
Like, I gotta still go? You mean to tell me I ain't hit the finish line? No, bruh. You ain't gonna hit the finish line until you dead.
Mm.
Like, I'm just like for real. Every stage of our life, we should be getting better. Things are different. Like, my plan is to be with my wife for the rest of my life. That's my plan. You know, I got too much invested, and not so much as invested like to her physically and nothing like that. I have too much invested that God allowed me to build what we have in God together.
It's that gift, that
Yeah,
priestly gift.
yeah. My advice is you got to keep going. You gotta, like, dang man, my shingle's about to go. Man, I'm dealing with the storm. Now I got to go back to Lowe's. Now then you gotta, dang, I gotta match up stuff. Gotta match them up. I don't want them to be two toned, but
Mm-hmm.
I gotta match them now. All right, but we got to get back up here. We got to keep going. We got to keep going. The same thing what I told when she got pregnant with Mackenzie. She was like, worried about what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do? We're gonna have children. We young. We ain't got a lot of money. What we gonna do, Pat? And the first thing I said, we're gonna live. We're gonna live. We're gonna make this work. You feel what I'm saying? We can't give up too quick. If you haven't put in the effort, like the full, like put your all into it, not that you think that you did, but actually put your all into it, like you praying on your knees, face down on your knees, and asking God, like, God, hey man, guide me. I'm praying over my wife. I'm praying over myself to love her, to protect her, to do what I need to do. Man, God, what do you need for me to do? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that people should be miserable be in a relationship. Howsoever, divorce wasn't an option either.
Yeah. I like that, and I know I've said it in previous, maybe I have. I've said it so much about when the Pharisees asked Jesus about divorce because Noah, it was written in the Torah like there are certain
Right.
circumstances. And when Jesus was questioned, he said, well, Noah wrote that because y'all are stubborn. He didn't necessarily write that because, oh, that is the option.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain reasons that you have the option for divorce. But he says, but that's not the way that God intended it from the beginning.
At all.
And to your point, and I know we talking about marriages and relationships because that's God's structure. Not just because, oh, we trying to, nah, this is what God's structure is. We didn't make that. I mean, that's what it is. But I can sit there, and you know our story. We know a little bit of y'all story. There are times where you like, bro, I didn't sign up for this. And guess what? I didn't sign up for a house to get hit by a hurricane. I didn't sign up for hail damage. I didn't sign up for this. You signed up when you went and signed that closing. You was happy you got those keys and you maybe got a little refund from the closing and we got it. And you did sign up for it. And it's hard to hear when you in the storm or when you got to go back to Lowe's like, man, I just spent 2 weeks trying to do this. That's a part of being the covering, of building the covering.
Can I add something right there? Or you go back to low when you do something and you be like, yeah, I did what I need to do, and then your wife come in and be like, I don't like that.
Bro,
We being real, right?
yeah.
You doing something like a painter doing something, you do it, and you be like, what you mean? That's what you told me to get.
When your work and your effort is attacked as a man, as a covering, that makes you want to put it down. But it goes back to what you said, bro. See, we ain't gonna get to everything. When that causes a wound. When we get to a place of, all right, I'm taking this serious, I'm trying, and whether it's from your wife, whether it's from your children seemingly not listening, whether it's from more stuff being added. You working on the roof, but don't forget while you up there, don't forget this. The unplanned for disturbances or scenarios is where a lot of dudes drop out of being a covering. Not only do they stop trying to build, they like, what the heck with it. And that sometimes means leaving, but a lot of times, like you said, they mentally separate.
Why? Maybe I'm answering my own question. I'm trying to give you a question, but I think I'm answering my old question. But why sign up from the get-go?
There's something innate in us to be in that position, to be a shepherd. You talked about there's that natural when you open that jar, like I'm in my role.
Mm-hmm.
There's that natural desire, and that's what the enemy is attacking. So okay, here we go. This is where the enemy is attacking the mantle of priesthood, where people don't want to be priests no more. People don't want to lead no more. Men out here don't want that responsibility because of what you're saying. But there's something in us that pulls us to, I'm called to this. I'm called to serve as a priest, as a shepherd, as a leader of my household, of my whatever. But because of what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've experienced, I don't know if I want to do this. So I believe the reason why people sign up, why we sign up, why men sign up is because that's what we called to do from the jump, from the beginning. He established us as the head, as the covering, as the protector, as the provider, as the guider, as the mediator. And before the fall, we were in these roles. It wasn't as hierarchical as it became, but he created it where he took woman from man. He put man in the garden. He did these things to say this is what you're naturally going to do. And so I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like we struggle between our natural inclination to operate in that, but we're also fighting the obstacles of the world that make us be like, man, I can't do this.
As leaders, do we always want it to be easy? Do we always want it to be like I can do this? I want to do this easy stuff, and I want to stay right there. If I stay right there, I'm good. Because I can be a master on the easy stuff, but when it comes to the harder stuff, I don't know. And I say this to say, like, okay, y'all know me personally. Y'all know me personally. When I try to say certain words or say certain things, like when I need to call about some business or something that we got going on, different phrases and different ways to say certain stuff, I'm not great at. I'm not great at. I lean towards my wife to do. That's hard for me. That's. I'm being honest. That's hard for me. Now I can fumble and bubble around, and I can land. But my wife is. If y'all don't know my wife is direct. She direct to the point. Boom. Let's go on and do this. I teeter totter around, make that little spiral, and then I may hit it around there. But do the hard stuff scare the living heck out of us as leaders? Do it. Like, do it scare us? Is our pride so high that we try not to make as many mistakes, but are we scared not to make mistakes that we don't want to be looked at differently? We don't want our spouse or our kids to look down at us because we dropped the ball on the hard stuff. I deal with that. Like, I think we had the episode we was talking about seven deadly sins or something. You
Yeah.
was asking what in procrastination is.
Sloth.
Slothfulness.
Yeah.
And I said slothfulness, like that hard stuff. And I'm a lighthearted guy, but some like deep stuff is hard for me. It's hard for me. And sometimes those deep thoughts and those deep conversations, it's necessary to know what we think and what my like conversations like me and my wife. It took me a while because usually I hear some stuff and I'll be like, listen, or I go to sleep on my wife. I'm like, this is whack. But no, but I'm getting told I'm getting better. But are we scared to really deep dive into those hard stuff and maybe fail at it?
It's the exposure piece. We don't want to be exposed. We see that from the garden. As soon as we become aware, we got to cover up. And Adam, when God asked Adam, when he asked, "Where are you?" Adam's response is, "We hid because we heard you coming and we were naked." And everybody, every human deals with that. But for a man who is called to that prime place, it's hard to be exposed. It tests your character. It tests your mental. It tests, can I even do this? There are a lot of roofs that are not repaired in the covering conversation because dudes feel like, I can't get up there and do this. This is too much for me. And we, you, me, it's hard. There are times I don't want to. I don't want to get up there. Like, yes,
I don't blame you.
yes, character, this and that. But when you start peeling back layers,
Yes.
it's like, and you know me, I don't mind. I'm open, right?
Hmm.
So it's easy for me to have tough conversations. What
Yeah.
it's not easy for me to do is sit in stuff that I didn't cause or I can't control that because now there's ambiguity. I don't know. So you want me to trust something is going to be when either I can't prove it's going to be there or when I've tried it and it ain't worked before or it failed on me before. But you still want me to cover? You still saying trust because you're trusting the roof is going to protect. So how can I be a roof if I don't know I'm covered? But this is where, to answer your question though, but this is where you talked about the spiritual side. And a lot of people, it's spiritual. Well, it is what it is. This is where a lot of men, we are weak spiritually. Not all men. I know we're strong, but there are aspects of us where we're weak spiritually because it requires us to trust what we can't see, obviously. It requires us to be vulnerable. It requires us to be emotional, not emotional of crying and yelling. It's emotional of dealing with how I feel. It's easy for me to be like, nah, whatever, procrastinate. I deal with that too. I'm going to deny that. I'm going to forget about this. I'm going to move forward. I'm finna sleep with women. I'm finna get money. I'm finna whatever. Because I don't have to deal with it. When I have to deal with it, it's vulnerable. I have to deal with my feelings and I have to deal with, I can't control certain things. And so the spiritual side is, God, I need help with this. I keep going up on this roof and try to cover my roof. But for one, I might not have the material. I haven't been shown. I might be trying, but something keeps blowing stuff off. Or somebody keeps telling me I'm doing it the wrong way. And that's why I want to make sure this ain't what this is. We ain't sitting there saying, oh, y'all doing it the wrong way. We saying we all got rules. We all are coverings. But everything happens at different paces, different moments. We are still called to covering, but God is saying, I have covered you. God said in Ezekiel, I will be the shepherd to the sheep because y'all ain't doing y'all job. But he's also talking to a prophet who he's telling him to tell the ones who ain't covering what he's going to do. So he's entrusting those who can carry it to say, I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you. I've told y'all priests, starting with Moses to Aaron, this is how I want you to do it. A lot of dudes quit because they ain't operating according to what God said do. It don't mean that it's easy, but you abiding in the temple as a priest comes with duties, and if you ain't doing it that way, it's gonna fail. Bro, let's real quick. I'm sorry.
Boy. Go ahead. You good.
In Ezekiel 34, He says, shepherds of Israel, you have been feeding yourself. You've been tending to your own desires. That ain't just, oh, we just having a good time. You're doing what you want to do. He says, and this is verse 2, should not shepherds feed the sheep? Your responsibility is to oversee others. You eat the fat. You clothe yourselves with wool. You slaughter the fat ones, but you do not feed the sheep. The weak you have not strengthened. The sick you have not healed. The injured you have not bound up. The strayed you have not brought back. The lost you have not sought. And with force and harshness you have ruled them. So they were scattered. Why am I reading that? Because he is saying you have responsibilities and you ain't doing it. And as a result, things are going haywire because you're not in your role as priest.
I'm gonna piggyback on. I got a footnote. And this from Ezekiel 34:3-4. My footnote says, "Shepherds are to care for their sheep, but the nation's leaders preferred to feed themselves rather than to tend the flock. Their sin was not mere neglect. They also treated the weakest members of society with violence."
A shepherd's role is to place himself in danger. It's to place the needs of the sheep on the same level and sometimes above his. And anytime they didn't do that, whether they neglected, like the footnote said, or they were just harsh and they were only thinking about themselves, they killed these lambs for themselves. And that's why dudes quit, because there's a price that comes with this role.
They got blood on their hands though. So what do you, go no. Go ahead. You good.
And how long has that happened? Because God has been viewing this. This is just one chapter of him talking to Ezekiel about certain things. But he spoke directly to the shepherds, to the overseers of the people. And there's another place where he said, your prophets are saying one thing, but I haven't spoken to them. They giving you false information. How much false information are we training up the generations behind us? We training up each other. We talking as men. I'm saying we talking as men, and we are encouraging things that ain't of God. Then when we hit with something, we ain't got no backbone to sit in or lean on, which means we lean to our own understanding. That's why a lot of dudes sign up, because they feel like I know, but then when they realize they don't, then I can't, so I abandon, I quit, or it just is what it is. Man. But God is saying in this, one of the things he's pointing to, that there is a way. I know the way. Now transition to the New Testament. The priest of priests, the Lord of lords, is Christ. He is the everlasting priest. What did he do? Placed himself in harm's way. Took on sin, things that was not his. He taught, he loved, he instructed, he corrected. The dude, I say it respectfully, the earthly dude of Christ, the Messiah, was a carpenter for years. And we don't know when he put it down. We know like in his 30s, he focused solely on the ministry. But he was working. He was learning the ways of his people. He's from the Messiah. He's a part of God. He knows what he knows, but I ain't experienced this. I'm finna get in the mud with you. He was a priest he was a shepherd that got in there with his sheep. I believe God is saying to Ezekiel, and he's saying through Christ, and he's saying today, you have to tend the sheep. But how do you tend the sheep? You have to cover them, and you cover them by laying yourself vulnerable, putting yourself under alignment, understanding that there are different needs in different moments. So I got a question for you, Pat.
Okay.
Or just a subject. That doesn't mean we don't have wounds and those undetected defects. A lot of dudes are hurting, whether it's from women, whether it's from childhood, and they don't have some of the material. What have you encountered with dudes that just have these defects? Not the ones who don't want to do it, but just like, I'm trying and I'm broken in this area.
I always say relatability is the best ability. It's one of the best abilities. Man, I've been there, man. I've been there. I think having compassion for these guys and just be like, hey man, I've been where you been. I've experienced the same stuff. I've looked at myself in the mirror and been like, who are you? Like sometimes now I do that too. I do that now. I be like, God, who am I? What am I doing? Just continuously encourage. I know it's cliche. It just seems like it's the answer all the time. I get it. Just get in the word and just do this. No, sometimes we don't listen. Sometimes we don't want to not just saying that the word is not important. Sometimes they need a word that may not be so much like the word, but is word. It's God in it.
You need that tangible word, yeah.
Boom. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like, man, me and Elijah talk, and it may not be just let me just sit down with you. Let me talk to you for a little bit. Sometimes it's just like, hey, come on, man, ride with me. We're going to the car wash. Let's talk. And we talking through stuff while we vacuuming, while we getting the car washed, while we just riding. Maybe getting the volleyball and hitting the volleyball and talking. Oh man, golly, this is good. We went to the beach this past Sunday, and I kept going to the deep. Well, not going deep, but just going further out. I took Mackenzie with me. She was a little nervous. And then we came back in. See my son come, I brought him. And he was really nervous. It's like he don't like water at all. But
I feel you.
So I'm holding his hand. I was like, man, do you trust me? Yeah, Dad, I do. But he still was apprehensive. But we got to a good bit away. And I said, son, what you see to your left is nothing but water. It seemed like it's endless. But you look to your right because you know that, okay, I'm safe here. Sometimes to get the best of who we are and get the best of what God wants us to be, sometimes we got to go out in that ocean and just go. Just to see what it is. It's a great show. It's a show called Game of Thrones. I love the show. And at the end of the final season, it's a character by the name of Arya. She was trying to figure out. They was going their separate ways. One person was like, "Where you going?" And she was like, "Do you know what's west of Westeros?" Everybody know what east is. Westeros is where everything is. That's like the main part of this whole kingdom. Everybody know what's east, but nobody ever explored west or went west, but never came back to tell what's going on. So I'm saying that to say you don't know until you go. You won't know until you and that's what I was telling the man. I was like, I got you. Like, I got you. I'm not God, but I'm your father. I got you. I'm with you.
And I would not put you in danger.
There you go. I would not put you in danger. And I held his hand and he looked at me. I was like, son, you good? He was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good, Dad. And then all of a sudden, we about to go back. Guess who I see coming on? Mackenzie. She's coming to us. But what if I didn't do that the first time with her and came towards the same spot where we was?
Now she trusts that area.
Boom. And so we making our way back. Dog, we making our way back towards the beach. And Elijah let me go, and he's just walking by himself. And we stayed in that deep side for a while, all three of us. He ain't nervous. He ain't nervous at all. But he see me. He knows that where I'm at. He said, my dad said I'm good. We're good.
There's so much in what you just said. I want to highlight Bro, I just wanna underscore something you said. We have to be willing to go with God in places we have not been.
Yes.
Man, that's bro. That illustration, because there are a lot of dudes who think they have the answers. They know what the world says. East or west, yeah, east or Westeros. They
Yeah,
know.
west of Westeros.
Oh,
Yeah.
Westeros. Like they
Yeah.
they
West
they
of
know
Westeros.
what's over there.
I know what's the east. Yeah.
And they tend to say, well, I'm gonna stay here, or I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna choose this. The God is like, but I'm calling you here. You will not only will you find me here, you will find how to handle whatever. And the thing about what you said, about a lot of it was good, but one of the other things is once you know God is there, now I'm willing to come back out and try it. And now I can stay here. But I've also had my father who I know is there. So not only did you take her, not only did you take man one by one, which are your sheep, you're also making them confident to be in that water. Because the water is unknown.
It's unknown.
But I'm making you confident. I've explored, I've explained what is over there. I've explained, but while I'm talking about what's where, I'm here with you. Bro. And that is why in the covering, you provided covering for them mentally, emotionally, just by just doing that. And I don't know, but the other thing is, I believe now they got a memory and they can sit there and say, I remember I was out there with my dad. Did that mean he finna go out there and go swim? I don't know. But what it does is it builds confidence.
Yeah.
And now when you tell him something, the sheep hear your voice and he'll follow.
There you go.
Bro.
And then, bro, once you go out there and when you come back, people will be like, yo, it's something different about you. And that it's like, I don't know if you see the movie, like, look, you got this orange glow, this aura. Like, man, when we left Augusta, I got a job in Atlanta in October 2015. And we was in pursuit of finding a place to stay. I think it was like maybe a month and a half. I didn't come home. Trying to get everything settled, trying to find place and everything. I was staying with my cousin there. See my wife. My wife came up to Atlanta, stayed at the hotel, and she was like, something's different. I was like, what you mean? Like, something's different about you. You Pat, but you got that Atlanta on you. Something's different. You know what I'm saying? So when going to certain places and seeing certain stuff and be like, oh man, we don't got this in Augusta. We don't got that in Augusta. Oh man, we can do this. We can do this. We can do that. And not having, and my kids and my children at the time, they were young, and my wife not experiencing the same thing. It's like, wait a minute. You, something different about this. So when we finally made that move, and finally in 16, early February of 16, something around there, it's like, okay, this is what you was talking about, Pat. So they got that same type of glow, the same type of mentality that I had. Same thing when we moved here in Savannah. Well, we moved together from there. It's just different. I hope I'm making sense.
You making perfect sense.
So when guys, us dudes, us men trying to really figure this thing out as fathers and as husbands and stuff, like trying to figure this thing out, that's why I say it's a marathon. It's a journey to joy. Plug.
Go
Cop that. You know, he's the author. But to have that journey and to figure out who we are, man, it's like when you figure out one little thing, you be like, man, that's kind of cool. What else can I figure out? What else can I get into? What else do we got that I can get or learn? And then you figure something else new out. Like, man, that was all right. But what else we got? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But with like, if we just keep pushing, just keep pushing. And I know things may not be right good at home. I get it. I know things may not be right with if you had a relationship and whatnot and things just didn't go right. I understand, but keep pushing, man. Keep pushing, because if we keep pushing and I say it all the time, keep pressing towards God, pressing towards what He has in store for us, it will allow us to act different, react different, talk different, love different, and then from there, that respect level. You want to have to say, hey man, you need to respect me. It's already given because they already see who the person you are. They already see the person that you are, so that respect level is going to automatically be there for you.
1,000%. I got a question for you. As y'all was walking through the water, were you carrying them, or were you walking, um, holding them?
Like I had Mackenzie, she was like, wrap my arms. She was nervous, like, no, no. But we kept going. We
Yeah,
kept going.
but she was walking.
She was walking with me. She was walking. Now, when she felt like, maybe she was a little bit too much on her tippy toes, she was like, okay, this is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Got you. I got you. Elijah it was like, man, I'm pulling this horse to tell him to come on through. He's solid. He got solid. He's like, son, come on. I promise you, I got there. It's like the sand was like his feet was going, but I got him over. And I had to stop him. I was like, man, we good, man, we good. Let's go, Come on, inch by inch. I promise you. Do you trust me? I don't know. Do you trust me? I trust you. Come on, let's roll. Let's go. And by the time we looked, we were like, oh man, we further out than I was actually further out than I was with Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that was. Now, was he nervous? Because I did feel like the little goosebumps. Was he nervous? Yes. But man, that was a special opportunity for me, because I don't, we have opportunities, but like a special one, that was special.
Mm-hmm. That was special. I asked that because I'm thinking you got, and I'm just listening to you, but
Yeah.
your child is walking nervous, but she's tight.
Yeah.
She's walking, and the waves are hitting.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make it feel comfortable. And you
Mm-mm.
get lower and lower and lower, or the water's rising, rising, rising.
Yeah.
And then you get the other child that's like, nah. I asked that because you talked about pressing. The pressing don't always look the same. Sometimes the pressing is I'm tipping, toeing. Sometimes it's I'm running. Sometimes it's I'm just pushing through, because there's opposition that's hitting them. That's hitting you. But I want to not and just this is off the cuff. But for those who are stubborn, God is pulling. Like, do you trust me?
What?
Like, like that. What you said. Like, I'm pulling you. We can walk this, and you still got to go through these waters. You still have to be the priest. You still have to be a shepherd. But your posture is going to determine how quick or how slow you get there. But I'm with you.
Yeah.
And when we understand, like he got to a point of, yes, I trust you. That has to be our response to God. Not once, but constant. Yes, I trust you. I'm still feeling what I'm feeling. I think a lot of times people look at us or look at people who may be perceived a certain way. Joy, peace, whatever, courage does not mean fear is not there. It means I'm pushing past it. It doesn't mean obstacles go away. It doesn't mean there will be no more storms. Doesn't mean your past is now magically changed. It means I'm pushing. I'm building. I'm listening. I'm getting to this unknown place with God so he can show me where I haven't been, so he can encourage me that he's always with me, and so that he can tell me what I need to know. So when I go back, I'm no longer in fear. I'm no longer ashamed. I'm no longer whatever. So that experience for you not only is key for you, it's key for me, it's key for those who hear this. That God is like, I've called you to this place.
Yeah.
Allow me to show you. Allow me to walk with you. Don't give up. Don't deny your position, but don't disregard it either. Don't put buck against it. I'm trying to take you somewhere.
I know we're about to end, but let me say this. It's a book my father-in-law put me on. I read it. It's called In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day by Mark Batterson. If you don't know about it, it's about the story in 2 Samuel 23, and it's about Benaiah, who was I guess you can say a general or in David's army. He was one of, I guess it was the story about he had like 33 guys that he really trusted. Basically like the Secret Service, like his well, you military, basically like his special
Special ops.
forces,
Yeah.
his special ops, and for David. And the book is about facing your fears, going forward, and doing it afraid, just like you said, doing it afraid, but knowing that God got you covered. This guy in a pit fighting this lion, and it's cold, so
With no footing.
with no footing, so you got all these elements. You got no footing. You cold, you basically in this cave or this ditch or this pit
Mm-hmm.
with only one way in, one way out, and you with a lion. That's four things that you have to deal with, and he conquered all of that. So, are we able to be strong enough to conquer all of it? And sometimes you don't have to do it by yourself. Yes, of course, we got God. Yes, we got God. Okay, master, boom. But you also got, if you got real close kindred, kindred people who be like, hey man, I'm gonna lift your arms for you. We're gonna win this battle. Right now, we losing. I got you on one side. I forgot the other guy on the other side of
Yeah.
Moses. I
Um,
forgot his name, but
um,
we know Aaron was
yeah.
there. But
Yeah.
I forgot the other guy. It's the son of her, so I forgot the name. But I know Aaron was on. But we got your arms, bro. We're gonna win this thing together. You feel me? So if we just get that and get to a space of having, like, I have a mentor. His name is Clint Lowry, Georgia Power. He should be about to retire or already retired. I think he's about to retire. He's been my mentor for the last, when I played recreation basketball. Yes, I played. I was terrible, but he's been my mentor. He's my frat brother, all of that. And to have him when I call him, for him to not to give me just not even don't need anything, nothing really be going on, but just to get those reinsurance, that reaffirming, like, Pat, you doing your thing. You doing your thing. Keep doing it. You a coach. You a coach. Hey man, you ain't hitting your free throws. You keep doing it. Keep doing it until you perfect it. You wanna get right on your dribbling. Hey, keep a ball in your hand. Do these type of drills. You know what I'm
Do
saying?
these mundane tasks that you don't think matter, because there will be a time that you need it.
The intricate details. Just like football, doing like those key intricate details that will actually put you
Mm-hmm.
in a better place. So if we put in those key fundamental things, I believe that the men of God, the men in this world will be so great, and we will reclaim our position, not just in his kingdom, but for our families. Not as a dictator, but as well respected priest in our homes. That's all I got.
That's all that need to be
But
said.
we could keep going.
We sure could.
We could keep going, but time.
No, this is the first of
Oh,
sheep
really?
and shepherds. Yeah, we
Oh,
gonna have
boy.
this gonna be probably once a month.
Let's go. This is good. And sometimes, bro, we need it. We need it for ourselves too. We do. We need this for ourselves. This is great. I just whoever listened to this, man, just I hope that that you learn something from it. I heard that. I hope that God, changes your heart, changes your mind, and just to let you know, man, we some real ones. We try to be some real ones. You know,
Yeah.
we don't got all the answers, but we will do our best to seek it and find it and go from there, man. That's all I got, man. This is good.
So priest is a position that is a gift that God has called us to. Shepherds is what we are.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest priest, the greatest shepherd is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. There is no other priest after him. There have been no high priest, should I say, after him.
Yeah.
He is the mediator. He is the sacrificer and the sacrifice. He is the guider, the teacher, the judge. He is all of that. So we have a model. If we ain't seen it, we got a model.
Yes, sir.
God speaks to the shepherds, and we have to be a covering. And like you said earlier, you said it real quick, but it is worth repeating. Benaiah and the men trusted that God was their covering. So as we seek to be covering, and as we are coverings, whether we operating or not, if we operating in it, there's instruction to continue. If we're not, God is calling us to that ocean to say, let me help you see what's out there. Before we sign off, let us be the first to wish all the fathers
Yes, sir.
Happy Father's Day. All right, well, this is Pat and Coach Jones. We signing off. See y'all next time.
Peace.